fulfill our role as people's faithful watchdogs of industry, it is imperative that our communities have the ability to determine when, where, and if fracking occurs near their homes, their schools, and their work. My bill, House Bill 41, will remove the sole and exclusive authority of the ODNR to regulate the oil and gas industry in Ohio and return it to where it belongs, to the people. This legislation will provide local governments and municipalities the authority to enact and enforce health and safety standards for oil and gas drilling and exploration. Currently, towns and villages are passing resolutions meant to ban or curtail fracking activity in their area, but are unable to enforce these measures due to state law. I believe that needs to change. As many of you are aware, Youngstown was recently witness to a nightmare scenario of environmental pollution, as hundreds of thousands of oil and brine were dumped illegally into the waterways leading to the Mahoney River. While this egregious violation highlighted the inadequacy of overall regulation of the oil and gas industry in Ohio, it was an especially stark reminder that our local governments are absolutely powerless to prevent a catastrophe of this nature from occurring again in the future. As long as the ODNR and the industry continue to walk in lockstep together, proper and thorough regulation will be severely lacking in Ohio.
That's right.
I urge everyone here to keep the pressure up on their elected officials and to demand that if our natural resources are going to be extracted and traded for the promise of jobs, it is not done so at the expense of our health and our environment. Thank you. That's from Representative Robert Lee.
Yes!
Okay, so next up we have our Representative Denise Greenhouse. She is going to be sponsoring upcoming legislation to ban Class 2 injection wells.
Yes!
So I'm only going to take a minute because
This one?
all right. So I'm going to make it short because the meeting she just said that Hagen's at, but that's where I'm supposed to be. Okay, so, and besides I'm freezing, so I forgot to bring my coat. So we're going to introduce legislation to ban injection wells in the state of Ohio.
Yes!
And other states have done the same, and so I think it's time, now with the increased activity in Ohio, we get on board with that and try to get our colleagues on the other side of the aisle to understand this is such a simple thing to do, as opposed to what we tried the last GA. I was the author of the moratorium legislation. And so why not wait till the US EPA study comes out that studied the impact of fracking to drinking water? Why wouldn't we wait until that study's concluded to start fracking in Ohio? I didn't get very far with that, unfortunately. We had a hearing and only one. And so this piece of legislation, we do feel that we've got a better chance at moving this more quickly and further along in the process than the last GA. So we're going to try this again. I do want to offer too, as somebody mentioned parks, and I offered the amendment to keep drilling out of public lands.
Yes!
That we are potentially going to frack in parks is a travesty to what we are supposed to be stewards of. And I know you all agree, but something near and dear to my heart. So we will keep, and I've been asking a lot of questions in the Ag Subcommittee about this stuff. So I'm with you, be with us, help us. The injection well legislation is, as soon as we get some of the details ironed out, will be introduced. It's something I think everybody can kind of wrap their arms around, so we're going to need your help. Pushing your legislators to do the right thing. So thanks for coming out in the cold. I know the weather's lousy, but it's important that you're here. So thanks for coming.
Thank you.
All right, so where's the next speaker? Next up, someone you all probably know, Phil Baker from Frack Free, Ohio. He's going to speak on local control.
How's everybody doing? Can you hear me?
Yes!
Thank goodness I was a soccer and baseball coach for quite a while, huh? Thanks for coming out today. You know, this in our community, our law director, with a little persuasion, came out and said, that this was the gravest threat to our community that he has ever seen. Our community was targeted for 2 high-volume, high-pressure injection wells. We were inside the city limits on a rail spur, and they wanted to bring this stuff in from Pennsylvania, New York, West Virginia, and other sites, and dump it inside the city limits of Mansfield on the north end of town where a lot of impoverished people lived. So, yeah, boo. Boo. Don't pick on folks in your own neighborhood, right? Anyways, we took action, and folks convinced our law director and city council that we needed legislation locally to protect us. And on last November's ballot, our law director, with the process of the Charter Review Committee, placed an environmental Bill of Rights that was passed by a 2/3 majority of the people of our city, and those injection wells have not been built and are not going to be built. We were told that no legislation would hold up and protect us. Those people were wrong. We were challenged in Northern District Court for not allowing the oil and gas industry to do business in our town. They pulled the lawsuit before we could whip their butts on that one. Okay? I met with my representative this morning in that tower and talked about local control. He said, well, my concern is if we give local communities decision-making power, then everybody will want something different. I said, yes, sir, you are correct. That is what we want. If residents in a certain community that have already been bought and sold, and their legislators have been bought and sold, and they want to allow fracking there, good luck to them. We don't want it in our community in Mansfield. Do you want it in your community? No! Glad you're here today, because we're taking action on that, and we're going to keep pushing forward until community by community we have resolutions that stop not just injection wells, but ban fracking altogether. Sound good? And one more quick thing before I move on and let somebody else speak. For the weather today, and this was chatting around on one of the rooms, but I heard somebody say something like, ice, rain, sleet, and snow, hydrofracking's got to go. Ice, rain, sleet, and snow, hydrofracking's got to go.